The debt is the highest in recorded history. The next bear market is going to be the worst in my lifetime.
The stock market has been going up for 12 years now, the longest in American history. We've had a big bull market. That doesn't mean it cannot go up another 12 years, but it never has. And in my view, inflation will come, interest rates will go higher, stocks will get extremely overpriced because of enthusiasm, and that will lead to a big bear market, the worst in my lifetime. We had a big bear market in 2008 because of too much, 2008 and 9 because of too much debt. You know that debt is now much, much, much higher all over the world, everywhere. Everywhere debt has gotten higher than conceivable. So the next bear market has to be a very, very bad bear market. I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm just telling you a few facts. And with debt so much higher, go back and look at 2008, 2009. Oh, it's much worse now, much worse. Bonds are definitely a bubble and nearly everywhere in the world. Interest rates have never been this low in the history of the world, never. We've had so much money printing and borrowing by governments and central banks. I would not buy bonds unless it's a special situation somewhere, because bonds are a bubble. We have never in the history of the world had such low interest rates. Well, if you think there'll never be another bear market, that's wonderful. In Washington, they say, don't worry, we'll never have another bear market. We have things under control. I know that they're liars. Either they're liars or fools, because I know we've always had bear markets and we will have another bear market. And when it comes, it's going to be very, very bad. I don't know when it's going to come. I would suspect in the next year or so. Watch ET now. They will tell you. But I promise you, we're going to have more bear markets, and the next ones are going to be very, very bad because so much debt. We should buy commodities for the last few months longer because there's been a lot of money printing. Whenever there's money printing, prices go higher, and especially if you have war. I mean, I don't like making money from war, but I'd rather make money than lose it, and I'm going to own commodities when the war stops as well, because there's going to be more inflation and more commodity price rises. When I see despair and unhappiness in a market, I get interested. There is no despair right now in the energy market or in the commodities markets. But when the correction comes and when the people are despondent again, then I will buy more energy and more commodities. Let me just say again, you know, there's a huge amount of money printing going on in the world, and there are big changes taking place. For instance, we're going to have electric vehicles. Well, electric vehicles use 3 or 4 times as much copper as a petrol vehicle. So we have supply-demand shortages developing in commodities as well. So I am not selling. You talk about basic changes and money printing and then war or whatever, then that's what I own. Aisha, as long as politicians and bureaucrats tell me there's no inflation, I will continue to know there's going to be inflation. These guys never get it right. Very few central bankers know what they're talking about. And so I own commodities. I know prices are going to go higher, not every week, but I know that all of this money printing and shortages of supply will continue to make commodities a good place to be. Do I like it? No, but I do like protecting myself, and I have to. My main focus are commodities because that's where the action will continue to be in my view. But of course, if you know some defensive plays that are going to benefit, sure, by all means, buy them and then send me an email so I can look at them too. I am going to buy more silver, not now because silver is going straight up, but when silver and gold correct, I'm going to buy more of both, because sometime in the next few years, we're going to have serious problems in the world financial markets and money markets. And whenever that happens, people have always bought gold and silver. I'm an old peasant, and us peasants know that we better own some gold and silver when things go wrong. I mentioned gold and silver. I like to buy the ETFs because I'm lazy, but also because many studies have shown that if you buy the index, you're going to do better than most people. So I will buy commodity indexes, things like RJA on the New York Stock Exchange. It's an agricultural index. Those things, I hope, will do better than individual commodities. They usually do. War always makes commodities go up. Whether we just read history, you'll know that for many reasons. That's when, and I expect this war to be over or calm down soon. But and that will make commodities correct, and then I will buy more because I can see there's going to be more inflation, more money printing in the future. And if you own the things that go up in price, you make money. When the war calms down, and we know that central banks are not going to be aggressive, yes, stocks will do well too. I expect one big rally in stocks after the war is over, but I also expect over the next few years a bigger rally in commodities. I will probably sell my stocks in the big blow-off rally and buy more commodities. And I don't have any shorts now. I'm not short any stocks, but in this big rally, if it comes, I will start selling short stocks again. Once the war is calmed down, markets will go up, and partly because we don't think the central banks are going to get aggressive, raising interest rates for a while. But we have a big rally. Then the central banks will say, well, wait a minute, now there's big inflation coming back. So then they will start having to raise interest rates again. And that will be, in my view, that will be the end. And then stocks will have a long bear market, but commodities will do well because there's supply shortages. Invest only in what you know. What I'm investing in for the next bear market will be agriculture, commodities. I will sell short in the next, not now, but when things get really hot again, I will sell short for the first time in a long time, and I will own commodities. And maybe I will own, I don't know, Russian shares or something. Right now, people hate Russia. But I always like to find things that I don't know if I'll buy Russia, but I will try to find things that are depressed when the next bear market starts. The bull market started in 2009, so that's a long time. That's 12 or 13 years. Yes, in my view, we have to be near the end of the bull market. I am not selling short yet, but we have to be near the end of the bear. It's never gone up this much in history. Stocks are expensive now. Interest rates are the lowest in history. Interest rates will go higher. Inflation will go higher. That has to lead to a bear market, and it's going to be very bad, especially for the things that have been hot. I would not buy Apple at all now. When turmoil comes, people look for a safe haven. They think the US dollar is a safe haven for historic reasons. But what's happening with the US dollar now is the end of the US dollar, because an international currency is supposed to be neutral, but that Washington is not playing, they're changing the rules. Now, if Washington doesn't like you, they put sanctions on you and you cannot use US dollars. So many countries are starting to look, and they should, starting to look for a competitor. China, Russia, India, some countries, Persia, Iran, Brazil, some countries are starting to look for a competing currency, and they should, because Washington doesn't play fair anymore. And of course, the US is the largest debtor nation in the world. So for fundamental reasons and political reasons, people are looking for a competing currency. I don't know what it will be yet. You, India, China, etc., are trying to find a competing currency. I hope I'm smart enough to buy it when you find it and when I can. Good. And I don't like saying it. I'm an American. I don't like to see what they're doing to the American dollar. But I mean, if Washington doesn't like you, they cut you off. No, America's the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. The debt goes higher and higher every day. I'm not going to pay off the debt. I won't be around in 30 years of something. But my daughters are going to have a huge burden left from all this debt. I remember 100 years ago, the UK was the richest country in the world. There was no number two. Then they went huge debt. And you know what happened? 50 years later, the UK was bankrupt. Unfortunately, I will not be here in 50 years, but my daughters will, and there's going to be a lot of debt, huge debt, and the U.S. is going to change. The U.S. position is going to change. Be very careful. Watch ET now. Learn as much as you can about what's going on, because when you learn what's going on, then you will become worried. And when you become worried, you will start figuring out ways to protect yourself. And the best ways to protect yourself are to buy what you know. If you know about automobiles or fashion or whatever, that's the way you protect yourself. Or if you can, learn to sell short, because selling short will make you very rich in a big bear market. In the 1930s, the world had horrible problems, but some people came out of the 1930s very rich, the ones who understood what was going on.